Hey everyone, today with me I have Mikko Tikkala from Valmet. Mikko, please introduce yourself, tell us a bit about your experience with Zabbix, what do you do professionally, and any other relevant info.
Okay, so I'm coming from a company called Valmet. It's a global supplier and developer of process technology and automation and services for the pulp and paper and energy customers. And with our automation system and flow control solutions, we can serve even more customers in process industry area. And I'm coming from the automation business line, so we are dealing with the control systems which are controlling the very different kind of plants. For example, cruise ships, power plants, paper mills, pulp mills, even some food processing, chemical processing, you name it. And there is a very much different kind of environments where we are dealing.
Are you guys dealing only in Finland or are you global?
Yeah, we are pretty global company. Everywhere there is some at least service offices.
Okay, and where does Zabbix come into play in all of this, and what's your experience with Zabbix?
So it was year 2017 when I was looking for a good case for my master's thesis, and we have been using Nagios before to extend our internal diagnostics. So then I started my study and finally I ended up to Zabbix, and since that we have been using Zabbix to extend monitoring capabilities of our system, and we are basically selling monitoring services to our customers, and Zabbix is the tool for that.
Which version did you start with, do you remember?
Yeah, it was 3.4.
3.4, okay. And currently in your environment, are you using 6 point something or
No,
which
we
versions?
have been sticking with version 5.0 LTS because there's a huge job to make a version upgrade and upgrade all the documentation and then maintain maybe 2 versions of templates and so on. So there is lots of things to do for one guy.
Just one guy, yeah, that sounds like a struggle. And I assume you guys, so you're selling monitoring as a service, I assume you guys have multiple Zabbix instances for different customers, right?
Yeah, basically we are putting an on-prem server for each customer, so there are thousands of Zabbix instances all over the world.
Okay, wow, that's impressive. So if you were to do an upgrade, you'd probably have to find some automated way to do it with scripting or whatever else, orchestration tools, something like that. Because manually doesn't sound like a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard job, and basically our local service offices are responsible for their customers and Zabbix instances, and of course I'm helping them from Finland when they have any issues or things with Zabbix.
Are you yourself, so you're doing a lot of Zabbix related work from the sound of it. Are you Zabbix certified yourself?
Yeah, I'm Zabbix certified expert.
Oh wow, that's impressive. Okay, but makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned a lot of different sort of fields of work. You said cruise ships, pulp, paper, whatever else. That sounds like a base for very unique Zabbix use cases, like monitoring very unique systems, right? Different types of metrics. Could you maybe just go through some of the more unique use cases, more unique metrics that you're collecting via Zabbix?
I guess the most unique thing is to monitor our internal diagnostics, because there is very old systems which are not running Linux or Windows. They have only this internal diagnostics available from from the automation systems namespace. So I have used some scripting to utilize our internal command line tool to read that data from the system, and then I will push them with the Zabbix sender to the Zabbix.
So you sort of have a middleware there that collects the diagnostic info and then pushes it via Zabbix sender.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of scripting? Because like I said, different environments, I assume internal diagnostics isn't the only place where you have legacy solutions, right?
Yeah, there is lots of applications what needs to be some scripting to get data to Zabbix. For example, some kind of backup solutions which might have some PowerShell interface. So then I have written some PowerShell script to first gather data from the backup system, then create data for low-level discovery, and then use that in Zabbix to create all the monitored items there, and then maybe use the Zabbix sender again to push data to those items.
So you're even using sender to send the low-level data to Zabbix. So that's quite advanced because you need to format it correctly, right? It needs to be properly formatted JSON, and then using sender to send individual metrics. That's quite elaborate. Probably takes some sort of internal design to figure out how we're gonna do this. Okay, so many customers, many different industries, variety of metrics, legacy systems, and so on. How do you teach the on-prem admins? Do you do some educating, let's say, or do you provide some sort of quick course for them to learn about Zabbix and how to use it? Because like you said, many different use cases there, many different customers.
Yeah, in the beginning we did it that way that when first or couple of first Zabbix installations was done to some area, then I was setting up the Zabbix and local guys were with me, and I tried to tell what I'm doing and so on, but later we noticed that that doesn't give all needed information to our service guys. So then we decided to arrange a 2-day internal training, what I prepared, and I'm the teacher there.
Yeah.
And that's there we are going to install Zabbix from the scratch, or basically our base is a ready-made virtual machine where is everything needed, and then the students just start up the template virtual machine, use some scripts to configure it, make it up and running. Then we are using our templates, set up monitoring in that classroom. They can monitor some of our Windows machines and so applications that are really Valmet specific, and of course network stuff what is quite basic. But and what else? There is of course there's a small part for making a new item. So
basics, so they know how to.
Very basics, and then some troubleshooting, some common issues, how to notice when, for example, configuration cache is used, and how they can find that from the logs, and how they fix the problem and then start up the server again, and that kind of stuff, and maybe some advanced rules for email notification, because some customers might have 24/7 monitoring services, and then it's quite tricky to configure only the most important triggers or problems to be sent to our on-call center. So user needs to know what to do when defining those, and
Do you guys mostly use emails for alerting, or are you have integrated Zabbix with other things?
Yeah, we are basically using email.
Okay. So yeah, in that case, I guess, like you said, it's quite important to not overwhelm people with a lot of spam and noise, especially during night hours and whatnot. So that can be quite tricky.
Yep.
I assume, like in the beginning, it took you a while to figure out how to make things less sensitive and on point.
Yeah, and it always depends on customer what he sees. What is really important for him, that there is always something to do, and that the template is never complete out from the box. And
yeah, it doesn't fit everyone.
Yeah.
You always need to adjust these things. Okay, so do you deploy, when you deploy a new Zabbix instance, do you always deploy it using the same database backend, same OS, same front-end server, or do you sort of vary depending on customers' preferences? How do you go about that?
Yeah, we are going with the same.
And what do you use, for example, for database backend?
Yeah, it's MariaDB, MySQL.
Why that? Just because of your experience, or any other preferences?
Maybe that was the first option when I started my first Zabbix server. I didn't have any experience about any database, so that was the first, and then I learned to use that one.
So now you have experience with it, and it's the logical choice to continue with.
Yeah, but I would prefer Postgre nowadays, but it's going to be hard to migrate.
Yeah, thousands of instances, right?
Yeah.
Migrating everything to Postgres, probably with timescale.
Yeah.
I assume because of compression and housekeeping of partitioning.
Yes.
Yeah, I imagine. Migrating all of that is going to be a large project and on its own. Okay, so you're going with what you're familiar with. Everything for the same customer sounds good. Quite homogeneous. Now let's look at the future. So Zabbix 7.0 is in development right now. Our roadmap is public. Alpha 6, I think, is out at this point. So 5 introduced new visualization features. Alpha 6 introduced some bug fixes and resolved some blockers. Is there anything that you're looking forward to specifically in Zabbix 7.0? And maybe that will be the version that you'll be upgrading to eventually.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with 7.0 and I've already done some testing with the alpha versions.
Okay.
And it's going to be our next version. Of course, there is a nice eye candy new widgets coming.
Yes, widgets and things like that. Yeah.
And also, I'm looking forward more advanced event correlation. There is coming something like that.
Yeah, it's on the roadmap. Things are always subject to change.
Yeah.
We'll follow alphas and betas and see what's out. But as always, if it's not in 7.0, it'll be out in the major versions in between 7.2, 7.4, and then 8.0. But yeah, it's always sort of hard to estimate what will be 100% there. But what's there right now is, eye candy, like you said, which I think is very valuable because those new widgets, I've played around with them. I really like them, especially the gauge widget, really nice. Also, internally, there are performance improvements. So I'm not sure how important is scale to you. We haven't discussed that. Like, do you have any really large instances, hundreds or thousands of new values per second, or what do you operate with?
I guess one of our biggest sites, it's about 300 values per second. That they are really small from Zabbix point of view.
Yeah, well, Zabbix can handle a lot, but 300 still, it's not really small. It's a decently sized instance. And with 7.0, there will still be performance improvements that you'll benefit from even with 300 new values per second. So definitely consider switching to 7.0 once it's released. Okay, thank you, Mikko. A lot of extremely interesting sort of use cases. Like I said, cruise ships, paper and pulp, that's something, very, very industrial, and you always think, okay, how are they monitoring things? Are they using Zabbix? Are they using something else? Turns out they're using Zabbix for a variety of such use cases, and we're glad to hear that. And we'll hear from you during the summit, right?
Yeah,
We're here before the summit, so tune in to Zabbix Summit. If you're listening to this after the summit, which you probably are, then check out our YouTube channel. We'll have recordings available, and check out Mikko's speech to learn more about the use cases that he's covering and talking about. So thank you a lot. We'll see you on the stage. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, thank you.